everyone to put your phones to silent mode, please. Good morning, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to today's EDCell guest lecture on the theme My Story Motivational Session by Successful Innovators. This platform has been designed to inspire young minds by connecting them with achievers who have turned ideas into impactful realities. Innovation is not just about creating something new, it is about solving problems, challenging conventions, and leaving a meaningful mark on society. Today, we are truly honored to have with us Mr. Ajay Gupta, a dynamic entrepreneur, mentor, and angel investor. He is the founder and CEO of iRapido Global and Health First Technologies, organizations that provide cutting-edge solutions in business process management, healthcare, and insurance sectors. Beyond his ventures, he is a passionate mentor and angel investor, actively supporting startups in India and abroad, and also contributes to building the entrepreneurial ecosystem as a mentor of change under Niti Aayog's Atal Innovation Mission and as a charter member of TIE Delhi NCR. We are also delighted to welcome Mrs. Sunanda Gupta, whose presence today makes this occasion even more special. On behalf of the institution and the Entrepreneurship Development Cell, I extend a warm welcome to Mr. Ajay Gupta and his wife and to all the participants. Now, I would like to request our director, Dr. Aparna Mishra, to kindly come forward and felicitate him with a token of our appreciation. Thank you, ma'am. Now, may I request Mr. Ajay Gupta to please grace the stage and continue with today's motivational session.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me all? Yes, thank you. So, first of all, thanks a lot, Dr. Mishra, Dr. Smriti, and the entire team of DCIPS. I'm truly honored to be here, and the session is all about my story. So, any story has, we talk about successes, but story has lot of effort, story has lot of failures. So, story is a journey. And when you reach my age with gray hair, you have so many stories that you will have to stop me. So Dr. Suniti has given me 40 minutes and I'll try to to compile it within 40 minutes because time is of essence to all of us. So I'll share some lessons from my journey and hopefully you can draw some inspirations or some things from those. So first I start with the initial days of my life. I passed out from a government school, Hindi medium till class 10th. So I don't know, some of you may or may not be from that background. And a very small town. You may not have heard a place called Kalka near Chandigarh, which is like footsteps where the train starts for Shimla. Now you can understand somebody who studied in Hindi did only had a subject in English. So I moved to, for my 11th, I moved to Chandigarh, which is the city beautiful, and suddenly the syllabus changes in life. It is English medium. And the only thing I knew about English was some grammar या जो subject clear करते हैं. And in the first 3 months, though I could understand physics, chemistry, but I didn't understand the language. So I actually failed in that first trimester of that exam. And that to me gave a lesson that boss, अगर कुछ करना है तो language तो सीखना ही पड़ेगा. And frankly, that day onwards, I tried, and these days you have apps, you have dictionary.com, you have a lot of things. So we had in those old days the dictionaries, those Oxford dictionary, those different dictionaries, where we would find the word, take the meaning, and I can say now, sitting in front of you, speaking in English, you can understand that I did something good in life to understand that language. And now I'm running a company where most of the clients are English, I mean either US or UK. So the message I'm trying to give you here is language or anything like sometimes the challenge. Life throws so many challenges to all of us, and I'm sure you would find at this young stage of your life that it is such a challenge. I don't know my future. AI क्या करेगा? मुझे job मिलेगी नहीं मिलेगी? This and that. But frankly, within that challenge lies the solution. So if you are open to it, I'm sure they say one door closes, another window opens. So you don't know, and you don't know how that will help you in your life. So now in hindsight, if I see, had I not learned that language at that point of time, would I be doing this? I may not be even comfortable speaking to you. So though at that point of time it was only to clear the exams, but now this is, if I see one strength I have now is I can communicate in front of any audience, and that is the language that has given me. So I would encourage you guys, whether it is Chinese, again, Chinese, we like it or not, China is growing, right? It is going to be another superpower. So, and it is already to some extent. So if you get an opportunity, learn Chinese, learn German, learn Japanese, whatever language, or even within India, South Indian language like Telugu, Tamil. I have an office in Hyderabad. Now at this stage of my life, I am trying to learn Telugu. So I would encourage you all to learn whatever language. So don't think my Hindi, English, Punjabi will survive. You don't know where your life will take you, right? So that is one. Second, if I move after passing out from college or during that phase, I had a lot of experiences from the family businesses or this. So one experience during my class 10 holidays, I went to, typically in those days we used to go to our relatives' houses. I know these days you guys don't do that. You have a lot of other things, fancy things to do. So my bua who was sitting in a, who was staying in a village, so they had three businesses. One was a typical grocery shop, जो जैसे अनाज का दुकान होता है, right? And it was in a village. So my cousin, who was like 6 years elder to me, he didn't want to sit in the shop. He wanted to see movies in Chandigarh, and he would put me in the shop. कि बेटा अगर माँ को बताया ना तो मारूंगा तुझे. So I used to sit in the shop, but it was forced at that point of time. But during that time, I learned a lot of things, and I'll just tell you some of those. So in those days, there was in the village, there was a barter system. Barter system you may not understand. It is basically मुझे 1 किलो गेहूं चाहिए तो मैं आपको 1 किलो छोला दे दूंगा और whatever, right? So then there were a lot of different people from Punjab mein language say they would speak Thet Punjabi, and till that time I knew little bit of Punjabi, but slowly communicating with them, speaking to them, making my point heard, I realized I got a lot of things about business which I could not get just doing an MBA or just doing a college degree. They also had another business called, it was a आटा चक्की. So whatever it is called in English, जहाँ पे वो गेहूं को पीसते हैं, आटा बनाते हैं. So and it was close in the village, and there was a ara. Ara is जिसमें लकड़ी काटते हैं, right? So there I learned the portfolio of businesses. So today I have 3 different companies. I am invested in some companies. But now I realize that at that point of time I did not realize कि ये portfolio है, मुझे अंग्रेजी नहीं आती थी. But I understood that it is teaching me something. And now when I look at my company P&L, balance sheet and this and that, I can understand at that point of time मुझे morning में भैया से पैसा लेना होता था और evening में देना होता था, and I could say boss आज दिन में इतना कमाया, and so similarly what the point I am trying to tell you is lot of, I am sure some of you may come from business families, some of you may have a close relative who is running a business, and lot of times we are ashamed. I see the younger generation कि मैं MBA हूँ, ये छोटा सा business, ये लकड़ी का आरा और ये चक्की and this shop, I am too big to do that. But guys, if you read even about the latest startups, have you visited Chayos? What is Chayos? I mean, it is in the end a tea shop. Yes, they have done it differently, right? So Starbucks, people are crazy about Starbucks. 400 रुपए का coffee पीते हैं, but what is it? So what I am trying to say is, don't think कि it is only that you have to that my business or my family business is too low. So if you have to really be impressed with somebody, don't look at my story, talk to your parents. So if you have to take one takeaway from today's session, in the evening when you reach your home, talk to your parents, ask them about their story, and they would have some story to tell you. And see, I'm sure your parents would be 40 plus in age, they would have some story to tell you. Successes, failures, all of it. So it's not about successes only, because I have realized failures tell us or make us learn more than successes. So that is another thing. I'm just giving stories because it is all about stories. So another thing I remember, again continuing the journey from there. So similarly, I had one relative. He had a manufacturing facility, manufacturing the components for automobiles. So till that time I didn't even learn engineering, but वो भैया के साथ फैक्ट्री में बैठ के लेबर का अटेंडेंस लगाना, so lot of times they would give me useless job which they didn't want to do, because nobody will give you the core job, and as you get into jobs or business, आज की डेट में मैं देखता हूँ everybody wants to be in the boardroom on day one, but guys, reality is that doesn't happen like that, right? Boardroom, for reaching the boardroom, unless you have inherited that wealth through your parents, और अगर वो भी करोगे तो आप succeed नहीं हो पाओगे अगर आपकी grounding नहीं है. So my again thing is just wrapping up that core point. If you have any sort of business, whatever business teaches you, you don't learn in just in a school or college. So college gives you lot of concepts. So I understand from ma'am you are BBA, MBA students. So I'm sure you have learned lot of concepts. So try to put those concepts into reality, and that is what you can do it in the colleges. These institutions. Another thing, after that I passed out with God's grace, and now if I look at my initial 10 years of my life, especially different jobs, through campus I was placed in a company called Hero Honda Motorcycles, and now it is the Hero Group. So we were the first batch of, as they call, GET, Graduate Engineer Trainee. We were in the that manufacturing facility. It is at a place called Dharuheda, just Gurgaon, Rewari, that way. It was early 91, and the moment we went into the job, there was a labor strike. So labor strike हो गया. What happened? The workers, they put a strike, they for wages or whatever. So what the company did? They said, we are locking the gates. जितने engineering trainees have, we were around 30 of us. They said, you are locked in this factory for 45 days. You have to work day and night, 16 hours. But yes, in turn of that, you get some equity in the company. तब तक मुझे equity क्या होता है कुछ पता भी नहीं था. ये shares, equity, whatever it is, all you can imagine. A fresh graduate, 21 years of your age, joins a job with lot of dreams, और वहाँ पे वो लेथ मशीन चला रहा है कि उसे पता ही नहीं है, because But at that point, initially it was forced. So I won't tell you कि मुझे वो बड़ा शौक से मैंने किया. It was forced. But during that 45 days or so, the kind of learning we got, working on machines that my college in mechanical engineering didn't tell me. And the labor management, like a lot of those workers, they spoke ठेठ हरियाणवी. And if some of you are from Haryana and जो language होता है वो कई बार ऐसे लगता है कि यार वो normal में गाली हो रहा है. But it was nothing on their heart. They were good at heart, but maybe my misconception, my understanding, and slowly I learned the language. So what I'm trying to again tell you is that sometimes things don't go as per the plans, and not sometimes, most of the times. So ma'am, during when we arrived, Suniti ma'am, she was asking, आपने कैसे सोचा कि ये करना है? I said, we didn't plan. It just happened. It's destiny. And I can tell you a lot of good things, and this मैंने इतना planning किया, कोई planning नहीं किया. It just happened. But only thing is, yes, if we are open to that learning on the way, the journey becomes enjoyable. Otherwise, what we at that point of time, even I used to crave. फैक्ट्री में बैठे हैं धारूहेड़ा जैसी जगह पे where there is nothing, even internet was not there obviously at that time. There was not even a simple cinema hall. But yes, that gave lot of exposure, and it finally gave an equity, small equity in the company. And then I started reading कि equity होती क्या है, shares क्या होते हैं, इसमें कैसे वो करना है. And the moment I started, if you don't know, 92 Harshad Mehta, Mr. Harshad Mehta happened. I put lot of my money, small money, जो भी थोड़ा सा gain किया था, and suddenly that money goes, right? But that again gave lot of learning. And today Sunanda is here. She says, why do you keep working on stocks even today? Because वो एक emotional वो है, right? So it is sometime, I think what I'm trying to say is that when you work on that, when that emotion comes, you don't know. I mean, today, the kind of learning I have learned through reading balance sheets, cash flow statements of the companies I invest in, I could never get from a degree. And now, again, what I can tell you guys is whether you invest or not. But good part is go to nscindia.com. NSC is the National Stock Exchange. जो कंपनी वहां पे लिस्टेड है, किसी भी कंपनी का आप एनुअल रिपोर्ट निकाल सकते हो, राइट? वेदर इट इज योर टॉप आईटी कंपनीज, आपको टीसीएस का बिजनेस मॉडल समझना है. हाउ वुड यू डू इट? सिंपली गो टू nscindia.com, टीसीएस का एनुअल रिपोर्ट निकालो. इट वुड बी 200 ऑड पेजेस, पढ़ना जरूर पड़ेगा. So if you are, and these days your chat GPT, all these AI tools can summarize that for you as well, right? So all I'm saying is this is the way, traditional way people like me have learned. We didn't only learn at that point of time. I didn't do my MBA even. I was just fresh from engineering college. Later on, I did my MBA. And frankly, what concepts you get in a full-time college, you can't get in a part-time or this. So you guys are lucky that your parents have put you in a good college and you are putting that effort. Now all I am trying to do is tell you more ways you can enhance your learning. So that happened, so 92, and then as destiny would have it, I work in production. Suddenly, all of a sudden, I got a job in sales. No clue what sales is. And I used to work for a company called Larsen and Toubro, selling welding equipments and electrodes. So going on a bike, if you have seen medical rep MRs, आप देखते हैं जो doctors के यहाँ जाते हैं बैग लेके for selling. So I used to go on a bike, used to drive almost 100 kilometers every day, welding electrodes बेचने के लिए. So it was a different exposure. Did I plan for it? No. I mean, I can tell you that yes, I planned मुझे production से sales में जाना था, नहीं. At that point of time, it just happened. But that exposure, again, the kind of travel, I traveled almost entire India. Kolkata, Mumbai, Banaras, Jaipur, Lucknow, I mean, you name any city except southern part, I was there. I practically traveled the entire India. So another thing here is, I know youngsters travel a lot these days. If you are not, please do. Travel gives you so much exposure, lot of business ideas. So, and lot of times I see something and Sunanda and I travel together. We say, yaar, ye agar ye, just we came yesterday from Hyderabad. We saw something in Hyderabad. We said, okay, yaar, yahan pe agar market hai, to why not in Delhi? Because travel, when you see, when you go in cabs, when you eat different places, it gives you a lot of exposure. And it doesn't need to be just international, even local travel. Do in your own way. But travel is great enabler. So you guys, I would strongly encourage you guys to do it. So sales thing happened. Then as the life it would be, I got something in supply chain. Now again, what I'm trying to tell you is, during this period, I got different diverse jobs in diverse companies, an Indian company, a European, American. So be open to what life throws at you. So from production to sales to supply chain, this and that, I did not realize how it will help me during my career. But now, when we are running our own business, I realize that everything is useful in one or the other way, right? So now I started the company from from the home library. Library in the sense, I was fancied when we refitted our house कि घर में एक छोटा एक library बनाएंगे where we will have books and where we will have a small office. As things were planned, I left my job and I had to start a company. So I said, boss, कहाँ से शुरू करें? So we started from that library was converted to a small office with 4 workstations, 2 for both of us, 2 for our initial set of employees. But that point of time, I could connect all the dots. I could connect the dots in the sense, मेरा production का experience, मेरा supply chain का, sales का, marketing का, which was not planned, but when it came, it all put together. So you never know how destiny, God, or whatever you believe in it or you don't believe in it, but how things are conspiring to make those things easier for you. And that happened. And so that was the initial 10 years of my career. Then as it happened, outsourcing, IT was big at that point. I'm talking about 2000. So my initial 10 years were in manufacturing, core products type of setup. So as you say, though, that dot-com bug uh, bit me as well. So I thought, yeah, manufacturing mein nahi karna hai, let's go into that side. So when I had to do that, I got an opportunity, but the challenge was, the opportunity was in the night shift, because US East Coast like night shift mein working hai, and you can say we just got married. It was 2 years marriage, and रात में I used to reach at around 4 o'clock, leave home when, and she would leave office at 7 o'clock. So you can imagine, sometime, yes, those sacrifices happen, but that was the price I had to pay to move myself from a manufacturing to the IT world. So again, the connection here is things don't, somebody doesn't give you all like, they don't give you all the best job or a boardroom or this. You would have to do something, put that struggle. So that was the other thing I would say. After that, as things happened, I moved in another company and that gave me a good exposure. Then a real opportunity came, working for a US based private equity firm, and that was in year 2007. Now this company had no setup in India, And before that company, I used to work for a big Fortune 500 company in India, and lot of benefits and all of that. And now suddenly it was a crossroad कि इतनी बड़ी कंपनी छोड़ के should I even go to this small company, a company which had no presence in India. I was the first employee, and we both of us, Sunanda and I, discussed it could go in any direction. It could fail, it could succeed. But yes, now in hindsight, 11 years I worked there, it was one of the best time I had. It gave me a good exposure of running a business without my own money. So, lot of times we fancy larger brands कि मुझे बड़े brand में काम करना है and all that. But there are so many small, medium enterprises which have so much important learnings for us. So if you don't go just for the brand, don't go for कि मुझे Honda में या मुझे IBM में या Amazon या Microsoft या यही करना है, because lot of times your small and mid-sized companies can also give you lot of opportunities to learn. And in fact, if you get a good company, the kind of learning you will get in a smaller company, you will never get in a pretty large enterprise. Because in a large enterprise, आप एक specific area पे there are like a company like IBM would have, I don't know, 100,000 people or more in India. Whereas a smaller company may just have 50 to 100 people. You would work directly with the owner, the founder, the kind of learnings you have, it will be mind-boggling. So again, I am not having any bias for a bigger company or a smaller company. All I am saying is don't just look out for only bigger companies. Be open to smaller as well, because at least I am lucky that I had an opportunity to work in both bigger as well as smaller. And my take is the kind of learnings I had in the smaller one were way beyond the bigger one. So after leaving, I worked there for 10-11 years, set up the entire company from scratch in India, but it gave good exposure. And then I realized, boss, if you're doing it for others, why not do it for your own venture? And that is when we started this company in early 2018. So today we are close to 300 people at two different locations, Faridabad and Delhi NCR and Hyderabad. And we work primarily for international clients. So this is both on the software development as well as on the services. Now again, this sector, I don't know how much you are following. People used to say at that time, AI is coming, this sector has been commoditized, ITES, what will happen to this sector? But again, I realized that if you are putting an effort into it, there is a word we use in entrepreneurship, pivot. Pivot, we say we start with one business model, and as you get into the business, you realize maybe like, okay, a good example is, you all know Flipkart, right? When that company started, if you may remember, they were only selling books. So initial thing was only books. But later on they realized that the real revenue is also books is small, and slowly books are getting online. So just books business alone is not good enough. And similarly, Amazon also started with books only. And later on they started all these things, and today Flipkart, Amazon are bigger, much bigger companies. So similarly, like we started in one business, slowly we realized there is an opportunity in others as well. So my again message here is, don't just see what, like a lot of times the topic also is innovation. We think of ki innovation is I need to do something very different than the world is doing. All those crazy ideas like invention of light or invention of aeroplanes, those would be very few. Rest, lot of other businesses are, they say if you are a good, if you are a good cloner आप समझते हो किसी चीज को adopt करना, right? If you can do that well, like Ola is a very good cloner of Uber. Oyo is a very good cloner of Airbnb. Of course, they have adopted to Indian conditions, and you see even the wealthiest business families, Microsoft is not the original idea. Walmart, which is the biggest retail company in the world, is not the original idea. That was not the first company. So what I'm trying to convey here is, we think innovation का मतलब है मुझे ऐसा काम करना है जो दुनिया में किसी ने नहीं किया हो. Those ideas, not, those are very few, and I'm not discouraging you to do that. Please do. But at the same time, there is a better way to do even an existing idea. Like in our company, what we did, we said all these, if our biggest competitor would be companies like Genpact, Infosys, TCS, all these companies. But what they are doing is they are offering solutions only to bigger enterprises, all the Fortune 500 companies. Then we realized that, boss, there is a space to the smaller to mid-sized businesses, SMBs. Those clients are underserved. So if we can provide the similar services to those companies, there is a market. And knock on the wood, in last 8 years, we have not lost a client. Because the clients are, these are all relationship based. Clients come to us for good work, right? And if we keep on delivering that service, that solution, clients won't leave us. So, and I'm sure some of you may have a venture idea, or even if you are looking for a career job opportunity, whatever you do, whether you are in job, whether you are in business, but keep that entrepreneurial mindset with you. I mean, that is what I would say. Even this teaching, we have a lot of learned faculty members here. Like Dr. Suniti, somehow she reached out to me on LinkedIn. I'm sure. So she found on her own. I didn't reach out, but again, I would say that is another way of reaching out, finding people, and similarly, lot of my potential clients, I reached out that as well. Cold calling, we call in the sales language. So it was a plain cold call. She reached out. I could have not accepted, so it could possibly hurt her ego, right? And similarly, when I reach out to a lot of people, people don't, even the people who used to report to me in my career earlier, sometimes they don't pick the call. But life changes, right? Now I'm a business person, so I don't have an ego. I don't have a shame in asking for business. So similarly, I think a lot of times, if any one of you is looking at starting the business, so first of all, जो ये 3 letters है EGO, उसको घर से छोड़ के जाने का है. तो अगर ईगो के साथ बिजनेस करोगे तो नहीं होगा बॉस. So you can understand that somebody like me as a type, all the fancy title, country general manager, blah blah blah, portfolio leader, it doesn't matter. What I was in the previous company where I had a chauffeur driven car, where I had this and that, doesn't matter. When I started the business, Sunanda and I, हम लोग अपना लैपटॉप ऑर्डर करके देख रहे थे कि इसका अडॉप्टर कहाँ पे लगाना है, इस डेस्कटॉप को कैसे स्टार्ट करना है. That is how it is. It requires that effort, and you might wonder कि यार ये बस ज्ञान की बातें कर रहे हैं फालतू में बैठे हुए यहाँ पे, because he's just trying to misguide us. But again, that is reality. I don't know whether you believe it or not, but that is how it is, right? So again, it is not that you are an entrepreneur only if you are doing business. I know even a job can teach you a lot. Like I was a late entrepreneur. I started my business when I was already 47, and a lot of time people think is it even a good age. Frankly, there is no good, right, wrong age. There is a gentleman named Mr. Ashok Suta. I don't know if you have heard. He is the head of a company called Happiest Minds, another IT company. He started his venture at the age of 69, and he started L&T Mindtree earlier, and the company he created, the board threw him out of that company. And now he, at the age of 69, he created another venture. So frankly, don't think कि मेरे को अभी मेरी एज 21 है, मैंने अभी बिजनेस स्टार्ट नहीं किया तो it will be too late. It is never too late. But yes, learn you whatever you are doing, right? I'm sure Philip Kotler अभी भी पढ़ते हैं सभी लोग मार्केटिंग में, all right. So all that 4Ps and all, तो उसको जो देखना है जाके business study करो. Take lot of internships. Another thing when I go to like all my clients and I talk to their families, like one of my client, he is a very wealthy person, and he invited me for a dinner at his home, and his son and his daughter, around 17, 18 years, so they are working as a cashier in a convenience store gas station. Why? I mean, he can afford anything. Right? He has a net worth of more than $1 billion. He can afford anything for them. But in those cultures, it is very natural. किसी को वो शर्म नहीं है. तो if you still have time, especially the BBA ones and even MBA ones, if you can get some internship, go get it. Because वो आपको जो सिखाएगा, right? Even if it is part time. So I'm not asking you to compromise your education, जो आपके courses हैं, no. You should put your effort into that. But alongside that, weekends पे है या whatever, like in the evening, morning, whatever time you get, the kind of exposure you get working in a real business is lot different. And don't tell me कि opportunities नहीं है. If you reach out to people on LinkedIn, LinkedIn is a good medium. If you reach out to them, lot of times you may reach to 10 people, maybe 8 will say no, or 8 will not even accept your request, but at least 1 or 2 will. So that will give you lot of ideas, and when you sit in formal interviews, it will help you. Because again, when I interview people, what do I see? I see कि boss, आपने जो resume में लिखा हुआ है, I would only ask about that. And sometimes I feel really sorry that बच्चे जो resume में लिखते हैं उनको वही नहीं पता होता क्या लिखा हुआ है, क्योंकि copy paste मार देते हैं. So at least आपका resume चाहे 1 पेज का है, 2 पेज का है, make sure it is written in your own language. Because in 80%, 90% cases, the interviewer will only ask you about the resume. If you have written a project, आपने लिखा कि मैंने उसमें project किया, और आप उस project को ही explain नहीं कर पा रहे हो, then it's a shame, right? So it's a waste of the time. So I think that is another important thing about taking internships. Online, even international businesses, there are a lot of startups around the world who are looking for local talent. And it's just things people have, like I was giving Dr. Suniti's example, people don't even take the basic step of reaching out. They think, yaar, ye to mere ko, this business is too big, this, it won't work out. But you don't realize that how many people are looking for कि at least कोई पहला effort तो बनाए, and lot of times we don't do that, right? So don't feel ashamed of doing a first step. And another thing, at least I have realized now later in my life, selling. All of us, whether we are in sales or not, we are selling ourselves. आप चाहे, I get lot of like when I interview for sales, वो कहते हैं सर मुझे टारगेट जॉब नहीं लेना. क्यों भाई टारगेट क्यों नहीं लेना? Everything in all in life, one way or the other, you have some target. नहीं, उसमें प्रेशर बढ़ा है. Again, maybe it is an age or whatever it is, but guys, if you somehow can learn to sell, I can tell you from experience, you will never fail in life. आपको अगर बेचना आ गया, और बेचना is not like कि किसी कस्टमर को बेवकूफ बना के या useless वो करके. See, the world is looking forward for good sales people. They like, for example, You go for a shopping experience. A lot of times you find a good salesperson, and even if you don't need that thing, that person will be able to convince you to buy that product, right? So I would again encourage you, if you get some opportunity in sales while you are studying, बाद में आप चाहे operations कर रहे हो, marketing कर रहे हो, because in sales it will always help you. Now I'll tell you some examples how it helped me personally. Ma'am, how are we doing on time? I don't want to. What is the hard stop? 10 minutes. Yeah. So as a entrepreneur, when you start a new business, for example, I will tell some examples. Convincing people to join a company which doesn't exist, right? Even that you have to sell, right? So I'll tell you some examples I did. I would go to some of my best hires were hired through this route. I was at that time at a Airtel shop to pay my bill. At that time, like I didn't prefer online pay karna, but now I get used to it. There were 3 queues. So एक queue बड़ा fast चल रहा था, and I realized that guy who was taking the bill, he was very fast. I don't know what happened to me. I had my business card. I left the card with that person. With my phone number, I said, if you ever need a job, call me. I liked him. I liked the person, the way, because uska hi jo colleague thi, she was very slow. And 6 months down the line, that person was looking for a job change. And he is now our leading manager. So now again, what I'm trying to convey is, it's not the traditional way of hiring is आप job description बनाएंगे, नौकरी पे, monster पे, portal पे डालेंगे, candidates आएंगे, you will do that. But sometimes we don't have to do that. Some of my best sales people have been hired through events. So I attend a lot of trade shows, all of those conferences. So during those conferences, what I do, I attend even competitor stalls. So if I like somebody, a salesperson who is doing a very good demo, so that means, guys, I mean, this is the best interview. जो आपको इंटरव्यू में वो बंदा नहीं बताएगा, आपने उसको एक्चुअली एक्शन में देखा है. So what I'm trying to tell you is, I'm sure your institute would have a lot of events, right? Even organizing something like this, it takes a lot of efforts, I can understand. So if you ever get an opportunity like this to organize something, whether an event, whether something, don't think कि ये तो professors ने अपना फालतू का काम हमें दे दिया. Don't look at it that way. Look at it as an opportunity. Because when you interact with lot of those people and they see you in action, right? So there are so many trade shows happening at Pragati Medan or Bharat Mandapam, and there is closer here Dwarka as well. You look at weekends pay, I mean, why don't you guys go and attend those? A lot of times those events even offer some opportunities to, like, you just be at the counter to sell. Now you might wonder, like, my dad has so much of money, he's paying this much of money, this guy is asking me कि 2000 रुपए के लिए day का काम करेगा. But be selfish about it. The kind of exposure it will give you, it will again be lot different. So all I am saying is, you invited me for story. My story is very simple. It is all about experiences, right? How we can relate to those concepts and see those in action. The action can be a small business, a medium business. So let me ask a question from the audience. How many of you, any of you from business families, raise your hands. So, okay, handful, okay, maybe around 15 or so. So my request to you, if you can, I don't know whether you talk to your parents about your business or not, but make sure you go there, sit, whatever that business is. try to get some, and then apply your concepts, whatever you have read here in the college, right? So I'm sure depending on the business size, they may have a balance sheet, they may have a P&L. So if you are reading your finance topics, connect with that. Okay, how many, I'm sure your parents are in some MNC or some job like that. Raise hands. Some of you. Talk to them about their experiences. So if you really want one takeaway from this session, I know we only have 5 minutes. Please talk to your immediate family or extended family. Somebody or other would be having lot of experiences. So I shared some of that. You may like it or not, but that is what it is. And I'm sure the more people you listen to, and one another thing I want to share before we close is, now we are also associated with a trust that supports, that provides financial assistance to needy students. So it's a trust called Vishwa Prakash Mission. Now again, this is an NGO. It doesn't have to. It is not a business. But the way we are running it now, after we both become trustees, is that why not run a trust like on a pure transparent way, right? So we as of now are supporting around 700 students. Out of that, approx 50, around 50% of are like people, students who have lost their at least one parent, and around 50% are girl students. Now, why I am telling you is that even a non-business activity like a trust can be run transparently using the business understanding. So the concepts you are getting here in your BBA, in your MBA from learned professors will never fail you in life, right? I still remember my Philip Kotler lessons. I still have that in my office. All that 4 P's I still try to relate to, so it will never go waste. The only thing is we need reality, or to attach to those concepts. So whatever I told you last like 40-45 minutes is, get that real experiences, connect with your concepts, and believe me or not, when you actually write your exams as well, if you connect those concepts to realities, तो आपको वो एग्जाम लिखना भी आसान होगा. With that words, thank you all for bearing with me in last 40 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an enlightening and powerful session. Your journey and insights and words of wisdom have truly inspired all of us. From your experiences, we have learned how innovation, determination, and resilience can turn challenges into opportunities. We are confident that your story will motivate us to dream bigger, work harder, and pursue our goals with greater passion. Now, if anyone from the audience has a question for Mr. Ajay Gupta, this is the time to ask.
Good afternoon. So my name is Kunchitra and my question is, how do you balance new ideas with practical business decisions?
Okay, how do you balance? So, I think, please, thank you for the great question. So, one is, I think, how to even get those new ideas. So, again, I was just, before coming here, I was telling Dr. Suniti that you think I am going to tell them, but I need to learn from them as well, right? So, it's more of reverse mentoring. So be first, I'm just before answering your question, I'm trying to tell how to get new ideas, because that is important, especially. So be open on those events, keep going, right? So now make sure you are available at those events, join a lot of discussion groups, read blogs, so it will give you through a lot of ideas. Now when it comes to balancing, like, first of all, as an entrepreneur, initially I focused a lot naturally on running the business, getting it to a level. But now I make sure I have set aside 3 hours of my time every day for these things. So this includes I have somebody, especially a financial analyst. So this person, what he does for me is present like, okay, I'll give him an idea that okay, this company, do an analysis for me. What is the best company? Like, let's say other day I heard of some specialty chemical which is used in pharmaceuticals. So now I don't have a clue about it. So I asked this person to do all the analysis, try to see which are the other companies in that. So he gave me a good report, identified, and good part is with all the AI tools, doing that analysis is easier. Now balancing that, I set aside some funds depending on like again, all of us have limited capital. It's not that the capital is not infinite. So we do keep set aside some capital for working on these ideas. And typically, like I made some investments as angel investments, and frankly, 60% failed. 60% failed. So it is not that I am the best investor or this. But see, the other part is the whole concept of angel investing is you invest in 10, 3 work, those 3 will give you returns which will kind of outsmart all your losses. So to balance that, you have a ship to run, you have to make sure your core business runs without you. And I'm lucky to have Sunanda. She makes sure business doesn't is not impacted, and we have a core management team. Even if like I am here, the business is not impacted. I am traveling. So one lot of times the mistake I did during my initial stage of my career was of the business was I was doing everything, but that is a recipe for failure, right? It is needed in the initial phase, but later on I started to realize that I have to set the business has to run without me. It doesn't mean that I lose track of business. So the only way to balance is because we all have that 24 hours, right? Within that 24 hours, if we keep a fine balance. So broadly, I would work on a weekly schedule that on a week, around 20 hours I have to keep for new ideas. And this gives a good balance. I don't know whether it answers your question or not, but that is my way of trying to do it.
Anyone else in the audience?
Good afternoon, sir.
Roughly.
Myself, Tishika. So my question is, what are the biggest challenges Rapido actually face in early days, and how would you handle them at that time? So that's my question.
So the biggest challenge in any business, whether iRapido or any others, is getting initial set of clients, right? And especially for a late stage entrepreneur like me who started business at 47 years. With age comes ego, with age comes lot of what do you call entitlement. I'm entitled. मेरे पास गाड़ी होना चाहिए, बंगला ये वो blah blah blah, right? I won't go to दीवार का dialogue, but point is we get that entitlement. So the biggest challenge initially was getting that initial set of clients. So and luckily for me, my first set of when we started the business, so I got a assignment from a US client. He was 6 months. It was a turnaround. So he saw my work in the previous company. He offered me that you can you come work in the US for 6 months. This guy was 82 years old. He wanted to sell his business. So he said you will have to work here. So it is again destiny. I mean, it through that opportunity, I was in US for 6 months, working morning में 6 o'clock till 12 in the night. 8 hours was my commitment to that company. बाकी 8 hours I used to do lot of cold calling, emailing, and the same people who used to report to me, वो मेरे email का जवाब नहीं देते थे, मेरे phone का आंसर नहीं करते थे. But I think that is what it is. I use that word ego. We have to set aside ego, and the biggest challenge was that. But good part is once we एंड फर्स्ट ईयर में जो बिजनेस का रेवेन्यू भी था, जो मेरी सैलरी थी उससे भी कितने परसेंट कम था, आई विल बी शेम टू टेल यू. So with at the 47 you can say we have a business, you have a family, you have young kids, so your EMIs, so all of those things are there. But I think that was the challenge. But in that challenge was the opportunity. We got the clients, and through that clients we got referrals, and something worked. So all I would say is if we keep lot of challenges, but in the end it was worthwhile to take that challenges.
Sir, what is the behind your this word I rapidly? How did you arrive at this?
So Dr. question is what is the I Rapido? So and frankly, one is you want to hear the real answer or the bookish answer?
Whatever.
So the real answer is we were looking for a brand name at that point of time. I had to because I had to launch the company. Third day I had a flight, and we just had 2 days. So we were looking at those of you who have registered domains. We were looking for domains available. So then we realized कि हम कर क्या रहे हैं? हम क्या कर रहे हैं? We are trying to whatever services our clients expect, we are doing it cheaper, faster, better. So the word faster came in, and rapid is a thing for fast. So we saw a domain which was available, iRapido, and that is how we took that name. So it was not really well thought of, it was just that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you everyone for being a part of today's session. With that, we come to the end of this event. Wishing you all a great day ahead. And before leaving, let us all assemble for a group photograph. Thank you.